Hello, everyone. The topic of my report is technologies to combat fake news. My report includes these four parts. The first part is context and background. We define fake news as false information with misleading descriptions of fabricated false information for the information in the internet on the internet, which may or may not be related to real events or real situations, and which aims to deliberately mislead or manipulate specific traders or imaged readers through generated format and hip headlines and content in order to attract the attention of readers, and this thus gain more exposure and influence, and consequently more revenue or ideological gains. It's difficult for us to directly prevent the makers of fake news from making fake news, but we can resist the makers of fake news from making fake news by tracing the source of fake news and punishing the makers. And we can also take measures to stop or control the dissemination of fake news in order to minimize the adverse effects of fake news. We call this process of preventing the dissemination of fake news by certain means or resisting the creation of fake news by the makers of fake news by certain means. They combat fake news. Here's a piece. Here's a piece of fake news with 70,000 plays on an internet platform, and the fake news was forwarded and spread in my family's WeChat group. So the fake news is not far from us. With the rise and rapid development of AI and deep learning technologies in recent years, the amount of fake news on internet platforms is growing rapidly. There's a lot of fake news in today's online environment. Once the fake news is believed, the consequences can be very serious. Fake news about medical issues may affect health. Fake news about elections may affect election results caused by competition or reduce the public's right to speak out and be informed. Fake news about people may seriously damage their reputations, and fake news about companies may seriously damage their effectiveness. So we need to combat fake news, but some challenges need to be overcome to combat fake news. There's the challenges. The first challenges, the first challenge of this topic is how to correctly determine if a piece of news is fake news without being confused by it. On the current internet, where news information is disseminated globally, if we suspect that a piece of news is fake, we cannot verify the reality of the news in a more direct way, which gives room for the creation and dissemination of fake news. In addition, since the truthfulness of news is not the majority rule, even when most news dissemination platforms hold the same view, the news is also likely to be fake, which further enhances the perplexing nature of fake news. Secondly, there will be another challenge here, which is the venom in the regulation of fake news. Due to the rapid development of AI technology and text generation technology, the exciting regulatory power has made it difficult to cover the rapid generation of fake news on internet platforms. At the same time, many of the original information dissemination platforms not involved in the news also launched the news dissemination business or passively become the medium of news dissemination, in which there will also be fake news. This creates a vacuum in the regulation of fake news, which gives the soil for the rapid spread of fake news. To combat fake news, we also need to face the second. We also need to face a huge challenge, which I call the revenue challenge. We can see that the audience of news has very little monetary gain from controlling fake news. And this is also true for the creators of the news distribution platforms. If they can virtually fight against fake news in their platforms, can indeed improve the information credibility and create worthiness of the news description, the news distribution platforms in the mind of their users. However, in the short term, the strict control of fake news can hardly bring actual revenue to the platform, and therefore compared with large news dissemination platforms, small news platforms are much more severely limited by this revenue challenge. Since the credibility and truthworthiness of news platforms are conducive to the long-term development of large news platforms and the maintenance of their audience and the number of customers, while small news platforms place more importance on revenue. On extreme cases, small news platforms that do not have revenue or even do not live long enough for the credibility of their platforms to bring in revenue that day will go out of business. Most small news platforms do not have well-developed means of combating fake news because of these reasons. The next part is solution to the challenges. The first challenge is the perplexing nature of fake news. The challenge is now how to accurately identify which stories are fake news. This requires a lot of analysis of text samples or even surveys or even field investigations. Management interviews deal with high impact fake news origins, but low impact fake news origins go mostly unchallenged. In order to fully overcome this challenge, we need to develop a low-cost platform to use to assist in identifying fake news. In order to fully overcome this challenge, there's a need to develop a documentation platform that can accurately determine fake news, which can be developed using AI and blockchain technology for the development work. At the same time, the detection platform can first be tried out in regulatory agencies and large news dissemination platforms. And if it works well, it can be promoted to the general public in a way similar to a browser plugin, so as to comprehensively combat the dissemination of fake news and update the platform's database and the numbers of news dissemination platforms in a timely manner according to the news information collected. And finally, it will cover as many news dissemination platforms as possible. The second challenge is the venom in the regulation of fake news, which requires news dissemination platforms to sound the auditing process and the produce of pursuing responsibility for the creators or publishers of fake news, and at the same time to simplify the process of new users complaining about fake news, as well as to establish a cooperative relationship with professionals or professional platforms for the identification of fake news, so as to continuously of the adult mechanism and the mechanism of tracing back to the responsibility to fake news and to enhance the user's trust in the information about the news on news dissemination platforms and the platform's credibility. At the same time, in addition to the platform for disseminating news and information, management departments and government agencies related to information security should also set up a regulatory system for the news traceability, a system for the accepting compliance with the general public and the applications for tracing news sources. The third challenge is a revenue challenge. For this challenge, we can analyze the demand of several levels. First of all, from the levels of ordinary users of the news dissemination platform, we need to let the users report fake news to get a concurrent amount of return. For example, if a user in a month successfully reported the platform of fake news to stop the spread of fake news to contribute, you can reward the user with a certain time platform membership or give other rewards to encourage users to improve their platform with the power of a small amount of money. This method will benefit both the users and the platform itself. At the same time, regulators can use algorithms to assess the credibility of news distribution platforms and reward news distribution platforms that make outstanding contributions to controlling the spread of fake news. The next part is summary. Combat fake news is an important task in the modern network environment, and this task is crucial to the maintenance of a normal network environment, which requires the participation and the support of many parties. The regulation of news dissemination platforms, the effort of governments, regulators, and technology organizations, as well as the sponsors and the cooperation of the general public on fake news are all necessary to combat fake news. In order to stop the spread of fake news and hold the makers of fake news accountable, it's necessary to develop a reliable, low-cost fake news detection platform that will integrate technologies such as AI, blockchain technology, and natural language processing technology to achieve the goal of accurately and relatively detecting the fake news. At the same time, due to the confusing nature of fake news, it's also important to rely on a composite system that combines manual identification and AI identification to determine whether it's fake news. This is the end of my report. Thanks for listening.